You're listening to Send the Message. This week we're exploring barriers to accessing work for parents with SEND children.
Research by the charity Support SEND Kids shows that 40% of parents of children with SEND had to leave their jobs, and more than 33% had to reduce their hours. But parents of SEND children do actually want to work.
It's quite a complex situation to be able to balance all that care. You've got the right carer, and you've got to be able to work and things like that. But if you've got that ideal world where you've got a good employer and you've got the right care at home, there's so many benefits to be able to work. We were discussing this before around sort of having a purpose beyond just caring for your child, being able to sort of really contribute the skills that you've built up maybe before you even had children, to be able to use them again. Just having like a mental break. I know that I get a mental break from just thinking about my child by working, but it's like such a complex, what we've been talking about, it's so complex what has to be in place.
Not to excuse ourselves, but to understand that we're human beings just like everyone else, just like you, and having just that little bit of compassion and understanding is just a way to just further human our experience. You know, we want to be here, we want to work, we want to have a life just like anybody else. And just to give that, because I know some parents, they decide to work because for their own mental health, you know, they just want to have that sense of normality, something other than being a parent or being a carer of a child with complex needs.
So you might think, why don't parents of SEND children simply get a job if they want one so bad? Hayley had the perfect job opportunity where she could put all her lived experience into practice, but she couldn't apply because she had to care for her children.
So it would have been a vulnerabilities practitioner. It would have encompassed autism, neurodivergence, learning disabilities, advocating for those who don't fit into specific pathways in the hospital. I have experience that maybe a lot of other nurses wouldn't, in that I live it. To have that inside knowledge of this is what it feels like as a parent and how to approach it to other parents, I think I would have been amazing.
Why weren't you able to apply for it?
So, because I wouldn't have had the support of the boy's dad. He didn't feel he could look after them 5 afternoons in a row. And so without that support, I wouldn't have been able to apply to go through the interview process to then say, oh, sorry, it's not going to work. It would have been a waste of time for everybody.
So why don't parents just get a carer for their children so they can work? Well, many parents of SEND children have a bad experience with the care system. Listen to Fatima's story.
The last carer that we had, she was taken straight to her house and leaving him with her 18-year-old daughter instead of taking him to the park. The way I even found out was the care package was for her to take him to the park. But every day, so he comes back completely clean. I know when I take my son to the park, he's a mess. He's got sand in his shoes, sand in his head. He's been rolling around on the grass. I'm like, this child is as clean as he was when he left it. Where did you guys came from? So I just trusted my gut instinct, and I followed her one day, and she dropped him off to her house. I had to call social services, the care agency. I said, this is crazy. This is a huge breach of trust. I did not know my child was here. Why do you guys think it's okay to do that to the child? So I just...
Also, importantly, you don't know who your child is with.
Exactly.
You think you're entrusting them to one person, and it's someone you've never met.
And so imagine if I had a work commitment and I just said, I'm not even trusting both care. So because that trust was broken in such a big way that I can't trust a stranger to come to my house to look after. I don't care how experienced you are.
Imagine if you did actually manage to get a job. What is it like to be a parent with a SEND child in the workplace?
And that's a barrier to employment as well, because you just, and then some employees might not want you on your phone, and it's not like you're on Facebook or posting or doing a TikTok video. You're actually making sure that the carer is not contacting you for an emergency and things like that. And then
when something does pop up, you have to take time there and then to sort it out.
Yeah, so it's having that employees that understand too about the complexities and being flexible and Yeah, and then not feeling, I guess, penalised in that by an employer that is saying, well, you've missed this many days of work, or we don't know if we can keep you on, and it's a bit of a cycle.
And it must also be like the people you work with as well. Like I can imagine if you worked in an office, like the people around you, you probably feel quite judged if you're the one that's always taking the time off.
Or leaving early.
Yeah.
It happens about even me back in Kenya. It happened that way. I can go ask for permission and like, we'll stay on your desk, So it's really hard because you can't keep on asking for permission because eventually they will say no.
And you don't want to test your employer's goodwill too much. It's not always that they will say no, because my manager at the moment is amazing and has said, take as much time, do not come back. Do not think about coming back to work before you're ready, because you're not able to work. But you don't want to test that goodwill. You don't want to keep asking
Exactly.
until they get tired of you,
Yeah.
even if it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because another employer wouldn't be so
I can
flexible.
say instead of asking permission, and you are like you don't know what to ask anymore. It's like up too much.
Yeah.
And it really gets in your mind.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
too much.
Feel like a
Up too
burden.
much.
Parents feel like they're asking too much from their employers. Consider the school holidays where the average parent could have their child attend summer camp or stay with relatives. Some parents often don't have this option and will have to decide between working or looking after their child.
I think that's a good point about school too. So when you do have that time during the day during school to be able to work, but as soon as the holidays come around, your hours are not going to fit into like all day. And the holidays are a long time. I have anxiety of summer coming up because it's such a long period. And I've got, this wonderful package from Whippersnappers, which is a lifeline. But I don't really have anything on either side of that. And I find that when my kids don't have that routine of school, they don't get tired and burnt out from school, we get a lot of our pica type of behaviors. I have one child that eats plastic, he eats silicone. There's a lot of things. He eats coins. And was it 2 summers ago, we were in A&E 3 times over the 6 weeks with he had swallowed coins, he had to have x-rays. And so all these behaviors, it compounds over the holiday period, and there's no way that I've got time to work during that time. So having an employer with that much flexibility, especially over summer, you almost have to finish a job and quit it, and then hopefully they might re-employ you when the school starts again. But yes, school is really important for that routine as well. So that makes it even more difficult. I mean, if you think about probably mainstream children, they could probably go to a full-time weekly type summer program and they don't need one-to-one. So the fees aren't as high, or you don't have to have a short breaks package for it. There's quite a lot of things on, like football camps, things like that will tire them out, but my kids cannot participate in that. The mainstream holiday activities, they don't have one-to-one unless you pay for it, which is you're basically paying for someone, you're employing them basically yourself. The fees are crazy. So yeah, so like the holiday periods are so challenging.
Very stressful,
Yeah.
Despite all this, you found the perfect job that allows flexibility, allows you to take an entire summer off, doesn't mind if you miss days for appointments, doesn't mind that you're constantly on call. You still have to go home after work and start your second shift.
The other thing is your job is the only job that you do. So you go home, you still are working. You have children with complex needs. You're clocking in, getting them their bedtime ready.
There is no clock enough.
Giving them their medication. If you're peg feeding them, you're still working.
You're still setting it up. You're still making sure the equipment's there. You're still making sure you've got enough milk, you've got enough feed, you've got enough bottles, everything's sterilised, you've got enough syringes. Do you all need to order more? When does the medication run out? How difficult is this particular medication to get hold of? When do I need to order it from the pharmacy? And when I have to battle against the GP about why the child is still on it? it's constant. And then the child wakes up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning ready for the day.
And you got work the next day, you got an employer waiting for you with like running on 2 hours of sleep.
That wants to know why you're at your best.
I mean, I as I mentioned to you this before, so he was awake at 1 o'clock in the morning last night, having a full-blown meltdown for like a whole hour. Went back to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. If I had worked today, I'm tired, you know, so it's like I can't even imagine it. I can't see myself being productive at all.
Stop. I've got a son who's got sense. I need to keep him on the mend. I think he's driving me around the bend. I wake early hours in the morning, again at 1. It's my son, sitting up in bed, screaming off his head. It's the night terrors.
We asked the parents if they could rule the world, what would they do?
I would make sure all workplaces and employers create a safe space for employees to discuss how caring for someone at home might have an impact on their work and well-being.
Only if I rule the world.
I would stop the job centre from pestering parents who are unable to look for work and have children to care for at home with SEND.
Only if I rule the world.
I hope you're listening, because this is how I would rule the world.
Only if I rule the world.
We'd like to thank all our special guests today. You've been listening to the Whippersnapper podcast, Sending the Message, about barriers for SEND parents accessing the workplace. Thank you all for listening, and we hope you'll all tune in again soon.
If you'd like to find out more about Whippersnappers, visit our website whippersnappers.org and follow us on Instagram at whippersnappersuk.